Hello and welcome. I'm so excited to get into today's video. What we're going to get into is building a cafe together, kind of a speed build version of it, and I'm very excited to get into it. It's kind of a build that I might have gone overboard a little bit, but either way, I quite enjoyed it. It's going to be placed in our Disney Princess Challenge, which if you guys haven't kept up with it or want to start joining us, please, the links are down below. Either you can join us live or catch up on my other YouTube channel for that. But I thought this would be a nice, located spot that we can go to, and I think before I show too much, let me just show you guys the build. So for the original idea for this cafe, I knew that I wanted baby blue and baby pink, or pastel pink and blue. Not sure why, don't really ask me that. I just know for my style, at least if you guys have been on my channel for a while, I know you've probably seen a lot of speed builds that I might have edited too fast, or I talk too fast, because that is kind of my tendency, especially when I'm nervous, or just honestly, it's natural for me to talk really fast. But either way, that's not the point. The point is that the fact that I typically like pastels, I like anything from, especially pinks, I like pastel blues, pastel purples, and that really came out in this build, especially the pastels, pinks, and blues. So as you can see, I pulled out a bunch of items within those colors. And then for the landscaping itself, I knew I wanted the cafe part of the cafe part of the building, or I don't know, if this lot, I guess I should say, I wanted that to be elevated than the rest. I don't know why, but I wanted it to feel kind of like tiny cottage feels, which you can see that I eventually had to expand the build, because in my head I was like, oh, tiny build, but then I was like, other part of me was like, oh, I want cats and dogs to appear, because I can never personally make it to the dog and cat cafe pop-ups when you get those phone calls. And sometimes when I get those phone calls, I'm so irritated by the amount of phone calls my Sims are getting. I'm just like, hang up, hang up, hang up, hang up. Like, why are my Sims so popular? What the heck? But I mean, obviously, if you guys haven't seen, definitely go check out our live streams or any of our gameplays. I'm enjoying it a lot. And if you guys are part of this YouTube channel, obviously, and subbed, thank you, welcome to the village. But you probably seen that I stopped doing my other challenge, my gameplay challenge. I eventually do want to get back to that. I've just been so focused on my Skyrim during this current time frame of me recording this. I'm really focused on my 100 baby challenge and the Skyrim challenge that we're doing, so eventually I plan to get back to that. But the current reference I have is definitely, and where this lot is going to go, is in our Disney Princess challenge. It's just with the sim that we have currently, she's not much of a partier, which is in the neighborhood that I really want her to explore. She's not, I mean, obviously she's really into spa and stuff, but I thought a cafe would be a perfect spot for her to hang out. She's a young adult. She's not because the boba tea shop that I built previously, it just feels like it was meant more for teens, like a family hangout, and obviously she can go to it, but I kind of wanted something new. And this is kind of what I ended up with. I don't know if it speaks for her, but it's definitely a cafe, and I enjoyed building it a lot, especially the landscaping, which I do skip over for the recording. Let me know if you guys want to see that. It's just when I do landscaping, it's something I find so meditative that I just zone out. I put something on, either music or something to watch, and I just I just put plants everywhere in the build. But to explain a little more, as you guys can see, we have the cafe in the back. We got a little pool, just because I was mentioning maybe her going to the pool would be fun on a date. But then I was like, we don't have a pool, so I was like, maybe I'll add one to the cafe. It's a bit rogue, but I was like, I wanted to put a pond, so I was like, why not just put a pool instead? So this cafe not only has a pool, but it has a hot tub. I was like, if I'm going to put a pool, I have to have a hot tub. Don't ask me about my logic, because I don't really know if I have much, but I was just like, if we're going to have a hot tub, then I need a cover, because I'm pretty sure this is Newcrest, and Newcrest, it storms a lot. If I remember correctly, because we spent our first challenge, which was dang it, why am I blanking? The Black Widowers challenge. If you guys want to check that out, you guys can. That was the first thing I ever streamed, the first challenge I ever finished also, which is very exciting. It was a lot of fun. It's definitely memory lane, especially in Newcrest, because the great parents, what's it called? When it's the founder family is the Black Widowers, and it just really feel, every time I try to romance people, I'm like, we're cursed, because our we're Gen 4 now, so whatever grandparent literally just cursed us all by killing a bunch of people and taking their money. But it's a lot of fun. I find it very nostalgic, especially. But as you can see, you're probably asking me what is this building like, especially since it's weird. I don't know, it's a weird shape. I was kind of going for a spot to just kind of sit and hang out. I was imagining if it's maybe they built this extra building when they bought the cafe, and they're like, I want a fancy spot for people to get their computer out, kind of code and whatnot. And I was like, if it's gonna rain a lot, I wanted more cover, but I still wanted that original idea of a spot to have like small cottage feeling for the cafe. Obviously, it didn't go for like the aesthetic, but I went for the size and like the cuteness and kind of elevated style that I usually do for cottages for the cafe section. And this part I kind of wanted a very like open, like you can see out, and kind of cozy in my opinion. Obviously it's not like cozy where there's a fire pit, but it's more cozy like you can stay in somewhere where it's warm and you can look out on the nature with all the flowers and it's pretty and whatnot, if that makes any sense. This is kind of just me trying to explain my logic with how I built. Obviously, I would love to hear you guys' opinions. I always mention I'm not a pro builder. I'm more of gameplay. I love the chaos of gameplay, but I like to build for necessity, especially. But I also want to work a lot more on my building. So I'm currently kind of just pulling out items, which I don't know. I'm kind of disappointed I didn't, but I pulled out that little the little whale. And I still have them on the lot, but it made me want to do like a little splash pad because I was like, ooh, it'd be nice to have a splash pad. Not just in St. Sequoia. Obviously, we don't live in Newcrest. I don't know if I ever want to live in Newcrest, considering that literally all of our ancestors are basically there right now. Maybe when they start knocking off, but I could see, like, literally, if you scroll, when you see our Newcrest neighborhood, it's like Widower, because I named our last name was the Widowers, and it's all the Widowers, funny enough, which, speaking of which, if you guys are watching this in the future, or right when it comes out, I eventually do plan to release a video where I, like, CC up all of our family and whatnot, and a lot of the houses they live in. I would like to. Hopefully it works out. At least CC them up, because we have so many ancestors now in this gameplay, and I'm like now just like as we like I'm voiceovering this video, I'm just like, man, I really want to do that. We just never really have the time, but I'm gonna prioritize it. We're gonna do it because if you guys are keeping up with the challenge, it's just so much fun. Or if you're doing your own, it's so much fun just to look back and be like, man, I spent so much time on these Sims, and I think that's the fun about Sims, you know, it's the hereditariness of, like, it's like a project you're building. I don't know if anybody else relates, but as you can see, I'm kind of like, this is kind of it for the interior of, like, the little hangout spot where you can drink your coffee with the extra seating. I'm imagining they got great Wi-Fi, which I probably need to add to the lot when we tour it. Hopefully I remember, because that'd be nice. I'm just imagining you pull out your laptop, maybe it's a study spot. But either way, I would love to visit here. And this is kind of where I've already finished a lot of the landscaping, which you guys can see bits and bobs of it. I kind of just, like I said, I wanted to fast forward it so you didn't have to watch it, plus the terrible camera view. But here is our cafe part of the build, and for the style, like I said, I think you can kind of see it. I wanted the open windows. It does change a bit, especially the windows change. And you can see it's very floral. I just wanted it to be cozy. It definitely had to get bigger in size, just because I wanted seating inside and I needed bathrooms, and then I also wanted it to be a pet lot, and I just realized I didn't have a whole lot for the pets. So eventually I built like a little backyard areas where I imagine you let the dogs out, they go to the bathroom. In those little kitty litter boxes, they eventually go inside for the personal bathrooms. I don't know, I thought it was like a nice little touch. Plus we had a little more room inside the build than I thought we did. And okay, this is where you guys get to watch me struggle with the roofs. I don't know how people find roofs easy, like, ever. I think it's just because eventually you have so many tips and tricks that it makes sense. But I thought maybe we'll just do that. I mean, I could have changed the size of the bottom part of the build, but I kind of wanted it. I don't know why. I just was, like, determined to leave it as is and, like, just make the roof work. So I feel like eventually I did. Or maybe I just shrugged it off. But, I mean, either way, the build itself is just, like, 2 squares. It's nothing too fancy. So I obviously could have added more shape, but it's what also fit with the landscaping I did. And I kind of just wanted to run with it. I think with the final results, which I will do a final tour, it honestly looks really well, in my opinion. And as you can see, I just wanted these big windows. And every part of this cafe, I don't know, personally, it's just like, especially when it's sunny. I know it's going to change as soon as it's like a rainy, stormy day. I'm like, I don't want to look at this. But I just wanted like a cozy spot where you drink your coffee, you can look out the window. And there's so much plants and natures around here, so I thought that'd be nice. Although I'm not sure when we place it into my actual gameplay what it's facing, so that'd be fun and interesting to see, because this lot, the cafe lot, will actually be right next door to Miss Widower's, like the first home we lived in, so from our first gen. So it's gonna be exciting to see how that looks, and eventually being so close and so often to the first house we ever lived in, the one where we literally have a graveyard and everything there. I don't know, I miss that gameplay, and I might want to do the Black Widower again. If you guys haven't, I definitely recommend it. It's honestly a lot of fun, and like the story behind it that we did, because we did it with the witches mod that we had at the time. I think I'm pretty sure I still have it in my game. Honestly, I have so much CC content, but this is where I feel like you get to see back to like honestly back into the build is where you get the blues and the pinks again, because I think you'll see it eventually when I show you the whole lot, but especially in the interior, I almost said exterior, oops, is that the pinks and the blues really pop. And I ended up calling it the Bubblegum Cafe Pet Shop, I think. I don't remember. Something like that. Bubblegum, because it just reminded me of, like, sweet bubblegum. Kind of fun. And, like, my type of, like, place I would love to visit and go crazy over. And I imagine they have, like, themed pastries and stuff. But, yeah, so this is where I'm kind of just deleting, picking out items that fit. I wanted all of them to fit, but it was such a small spot. And, obviously, I only had limited space. So, eventually, we do a bunch of white tables. We don't have that many, like, pink and blue kawaii just dining tables, I've noticed. So I kind of had to restrict myself to white tables with pinks and blues, like, what's it called, decorations and accents. So eventually you guys will see that. And then I add a back door here. That's where I was thinking, oh man, we don't have much space inside for the pets, but I really wanted pet stuff. So I thought maybe we'd shove it all outside, but eventually I bring it back in, you guys to see in a second. And then I realized I do want a cat tree house. Oh my god, I have cats of my own and I'm like struggling to remember what that's called. But and then my other thought was maybe bringing them outside, but then I was like, if it storms here, because I'm pretty sure it storms in Newcrest, please correct me in the comments, it storms a lot in Newcrest, and then I don't necessarily want, like, if I go to the cafe in any season, I would hate to see a cat outside on a tree house, because I put it out there and it's pouring. But I don't know what it's like. I've never had the dog and cat lot, so if they even appear when it rains, I do wonder. But we'll see. It'll be a lot of fun to visit this lot. I'm hoping to visit a lot while we have Princess Tiana. Maybe even future gens. It might be, like, a nice spot. I thought it'd be really nice to, like, visit or, like, hang out with people, especially, like, she's a young adult. I wanted to visit, like, one of her childhood, like, not really, like, I don't know. It's hard to explain unless you guys can keep up with the challenge. One of her childhood woohoo partners I wanted her to meet up with, and I was just like, I feel like a cafe is the appropriate spot, but we didn't have that many cafes. I thought it was like a nice public spot to chat with somebody, and so this kind of motivated the idea of a cafe spot. So I'm really excited to use it, and it's something that I thought would be a little, not necessarily, I don't know, I don't want to say mature, I just don't know how to put it. Just thought it'd be a spot that fit more of her character. Obviously a boba tea shop / gaming station / like thrift store didn't really fit her in my opinion. Obviously, what a bubblegum tea shop doesn't really, like, not what bubblegum bakery, there we go, what the heck is wrong with me? Yes, bakery doesn't really feel like her either, but I feel like maybe she might like the cute aesthetic. I don't know. That, let me know if I should, maybe I should, now that I'm thinking, do one that's like green theme, because I've been doing her for a green theme because she's Princess Tiana for obvious reasons. But maybe I should. I just kind of fell into my own aesthetic with this build, and I'm glad I did. Either way, that's what I feel like that's fun about builds, is it's definitely geared towards me, but I definitely want to challenge myself potentially to make one that maybe has that more mature look. Obviously, I'm not trying to say that pastels aren't. I love pastels, but in my sense of, like, style and trying to explain it to you guys, maybe I should definitely try that. So now I think we're coming to the end, actually, where you guys get to see the bathroom and the aesthetic of that, where you get pulled back in those cat bathrooms. I put down these little stickers. I was kind of imagining when you go to, like, I don't know, when I go to, like, certain places, you know how they have, like, either graffiti on the walls and, like, fun designs that people put on there. So I thought, kind of, like, in reference to that, I put the stickers on the wall, and that was a lot of fun. So I think we're finally ready to get into the final tour, get to show you guys how it all looks. And yeah, I'm very excited. So let's get into that. Okay, so this is where we're going to plan and ending, like, placing it in my world. But this is kind of just my build world, just to play test and everything. But let me go show you guys. I did do a little play testing. There is a few spots that you can't actually access, which is fine by me. But if you guys want it to be accessible, oh, hello. All you have to do is remove a few items. So let me show you guys really quick. But yeah, I called it Bubblegum Pet Cafe just because I'm allowing cats and whatnot, which I'm very excited about. But there's certain plots, like if you see this little greenery, there's this little greenery, and I think that's it for those little spots. You just gotta remove those. Those are debug items, and your game is not, so your sim is not happy about trying to overcome those obstacles. But let me show you guys. So here is the final look. Absolutely, I'm in love. Like, I did a little, when I did my game testing and I was doing a lot of little camera angles and views, this is like my dream spot to go visit. Like, obviously it's a bit overdone for the neighborhood since there's nothing here. But as you can see, for this first little entryway, we have like the seating area with this tall like glass railing. I'm just imagining, like, especially with the sun setting, and it just looks amazing when you can look up. I can only imagine wanting to lay down in there and just breathe, maybe even stargaze, I guess, in The Sims. But yeah, so there's like not a whole lot going on in the inside, but I guess I'll show you guys really fast. It's just a couple of seatings with little flowers and like a little centerpiece, and then you can see a lot of my different landscaping over here. And then we have this bench. Like I said, you can't access it. I just thought it looked aesthetically more pleasing with the little layup, but we have so much seating that I personally not gonna care. We have like this little walkways that we can go to. I'm just imagining this is kind of like, what's it called, when I go to a national park, in a sense, but it's a cafe and there's like a pond, but obviously it classifies as a cafe, so the cafe works. And then as you can see over here is where we have the hot tub. Not sure how well it'll look and how gross it might get, but there's also a spot to drink, which is really nice. And then over here is where we have the pool. I do end up using this like flooring. I don't know why. I really wanted to use it, but when you use it everywhere, it starts to look like the color snot. It's just me. But I really wanted to use it by the water, so I think it looked really well. We have like a bunch of debug items everywhere. Like you can see, I did a lot of the landscaping over here for the pathways and stuff. And then we have, I don't know why, but I'm envisioning like this is a spot she might get married at. It's kind of a spot you can like be like, you go to and you just quickly get married. It's not a big deal. I'm imagining, I personally like woohoo spots, which I didn't add any here. I'm gonna have to think about that one, guys. Maybe I'll add one. But right now I'm gonna leave it as is. I'm gonna leave it as is. I ended up adding a wedding spot instead because you might want to hitch it. So that is back there for you guys. And I think that's it for the front. Like I said, I did a ton of landscaping. I had so much fun doing that. You can see I just placing each individual plant and then the rocks to landscape it well. And then especially on the side of the mountain here, I just felt like it looked rough. So I covered it all with a bunch of plants and flowers. But now for the main attraction for the cafe. Well, I guess I should show you in the back really quickly. So there's like a little seating area, and I'm imagining you could let the dogs out back there and whatnot for them. And then there's also a diving board I almost forgot to mention, which I did get to test out. It was a lot of fun, which makes me realize I want diving boards on more of my Sims lots. So might be adding those too. But now entering our very flavorful little cafe shop. I had a lot of fun doing this. I had a little gnomes, little wall decals, which I guess I should lower this a bit. You're sticking out of the ceiling, aren't you? Yeah, I guess it's fine if it's behind the toilet a bit. But yeah, so we have like a full-on cafe with the, obviously you don't need a kitchen, but I'm imagining if somebody personally wants to run this cafe, you probably prefer a kitchen to do the baking, because I try to put in the cupcake machine. The cupcake machine is not cute. Sims, if you could redo the cupcake machine, please make it cuter. I'd absolutely appreciate it. But yeah, so we have like a little cat towers. We have, let me scoot this way. We have the food bowls, which I did end up filling when I was playtesting, so there is food in there right now. And I ended up putting these little sticker walls. I don't know why, but you could see you got the little bun bun here and then the bun bun over there. It just kind of became the theme, and then I was like, that's when I got the whole bubblegum, like maybe the bunny's called bubblegum. Yeah, so that is that. I think there's, as much as I feel like there is in this build, it's not a lot. It's mainly just a lot of landscaping with a pool and like a bunch of pretty seating areas. But honestly, I love this build so much. I love the colors. It's just like my happy land with the colors. So hopefully somebody else gets to enjoy this build as much as I do. I'm very excited to play in our Z Submissions Challenge, and yeah. And yay, that'll be it for this video. Please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. If you're new to this village, welcome on in. Thank you guys so much. I honestly, for anybody who watches my build challenges especially, like I was mentioning, not only is my editing getting better, especially for these, but also my building skills, and I hope it's visible. At least I'm personally enjoying my builds a lot more, and hopefully you guys can see that journey also. And I would love to hear you guys' too, like, how did you get your tips and tricks? And honestly, did you find building your thing instead of gameplay, or gameplay over building? Because I've noticed it's like one or the other for a lot of people, or are you both? But I think that'll be it for this video, and I'll see you guys in the next. Bye!